Okay, in this tutorial we're going to continue with motion effects and keyframing. I have already created a title which I'm going to click on over here in my project panel and drag it into my source panel so we can see it. So there it is. It's a simple title which says hello. Now when I created this title in the titler, I made sure that it was very well centered in the design, and that will be relevant as we get into some of the motion effects when you see what we do. So we're going to go ahead and drag this into the timeline, and you can see it's a very small icon down there in the timeline, so we're going to magnify that a little bit so we see a little bit more of it. Okay, and right now this is just a static title, so if I play that in my timeline, it just sits there. Okay, not a very big title, but we're going to be able to change that. We're going to be able to change the size of it. We're going to be able to change the position, where it lies on the screen, where it moves on the screen, and we're also going to do a rotation, so we're going to be able to make it spin, so to speak, in two-dimensional space. So first off, in order to access those properties and manipulate those properties, we have to select the title down here in the timeline, and then we're going to come up here, as we saw in the previous movie, and click on the Effect Controls panel. Okay. Now that opens up, and by default it should expand this triangle right here that you can see and reveal these specific attributes. These fall under the heading, so to speak, of fixed effects. Basically, these are inherent properties of every clip, and the title is no exception. Again, we'll refrain from opacity and time remapping, as those are things that we will get to in a later tutorial. So I'm just going to resize this window a little bit to give me a little bit more room to work in, as well as resizing just the right side of this panel where I have this sort of timeline, so that I can have a little bit more room to see what I'm doing in there while without encroaching on any of my details here. So under this main motion heading, we get these attributes below listed. We have position, scale, rotation, and anchor point. We won't worry about anti-flicker right now, but these are motion properties. Okay, we worked with position in a previous tutorial where we clicked on what they call here the toggle animation switch. We will just call it the stopwatch, and by clicking that, it automatically creates what's known as a keyframe. So when you first turn that on, which activates that attribute, basically without turning that on you can't create points like we did in the previous window. So with my playhead there, again, this is review at the very beginning of the clip, and then if I move the playhead forward about halfway and I add another one right here, and I change, for example, we change the Y value on the last one. We're going to change the X value, which is horizontal. So I'm going to reposition my playhead back to the very beginning, which I can either slide over it, and when it's over it, it highlights blue, or I'm going to reposition it here randomly. I can also click these little arrows. These are like snap functions in our source window and timeline, where I can say go to previous keyframe. So if I click on that, let me try that again, boom, it will snap that playhead right onto the keyframe, and hence you see it highlighted in blue. Therefore it is sitting right on that keyframe. That's very important, because if it's not sitting on that keyframe and you adjust the value, it will add an additional keyframe, and that can give you a unwanted action. So right now we're going to reposition this to start not in the center but off to the left. So I'm going to come over here to my X value, click and drag, and I'm just going to drag my mouse to the left and reduce those numbers. And by reducing those numbers and changing those values, that gives a new position to that attribute, to that specific X value. So that pushes it off to the left. So now I'm going to hit my space bar, and it shows me what I just did. So it basically will move from the left to the right between these two keyframes, which are basically its points. These points are because each keyframe has a different value. In this case, it's really just the X value minus 197. When I go to the second keyframe, it's 960. So that change in value creates the movement. Okay, that's the very fundamental core idea here. 2 points, different values, and as soon as it passes that second keyframe, it sits there, because until you give it other directions, which you can by creating more keyframes, it will simply sit there because that's the last action you gave it. Now, let's add, in addition to that, let's make it get bigger as it gets here to the center. Okay? So, first off, let's go back. We can use now these existing keyframes as reference points. Let's say we want it to be bigger by the time it gets here to the second keyframe. So by parking that playhead right on the keyframe, and by that I can also, a way to do that again is go to next keyframe, click, and it jumps to that keyframe. Now I can come down to scale, turn on that stopwatch. By activating it, turning it on, it creates a keyframe. Now this 100 is it's my default size. In this case, this is what I get with the font that I chose. I can now change that and drag it to the right and make it bigger. So there I can size it. Let's go to 200. I can also, if dragging it is a little tricky, which it can be, you can simply click on it and type in 200, hit enter, and it assigns that value. Again, because this is a hot text field that we've seen before. So now I'm going to use these keyframes up here for position as my reference, and I'm going to snap back to the very first position on the first keyframe on position. Now you see an O sticking out. Okay, the reason that is because I changed the scale, so now it's a bigger title, and even though it's just out of it's off screen position wise, because it's bigger, it now shows up a little bit more. So now I may have to actually adjust the position and drag that a little bit more to the left and get it out of the way. So after we've done that, now let's come down to scale. We're going to add a keyframe, and let's click down here and set this at like 50. So now that is 1/4 the size when it starts. So when we play that back, it will now not only come into view, but it will also get larger as it goes. And if you want to accentuate that even more, let's play that one more time. And you should see how it starts small. Just as it enters the frame, it's small, but it gets bigger and bigger until it hits this point right here. Alright, so let's now snap back to those keyframes, and on scale, let's make that 300. And the good thing here is once I hit enter, I can see what it's going to look like. Okay, so now I'm going to drag it back, and it moves between those two keyframes, and it does exactly what you tell it to do. Start off to the left, off screen, start at 50% scale, and then go all the way to the center and go up to 300% scale. Okay, now one last thing we're going to do, we're going to add a rotation. So again, I'm going to snap back to those first keyframes, and I'm going to come down here and activate my stopwatch on rotation. I'm going to leave that at 0 for now. Okay, these are revolutions, so these are 360 degrees. I'm going to snap up here on either scale or position and use those keyframes as a reference, come back down to rotation, add a keyframe, and now here I'm going to type, instead of doing the math, I want it to do 3 rotations, three circles. 360 times 3 is math I don't want to do right now. So I can simply type in 3x. Let's try that again. There we go. I had to hit the right key, and now I hit enter, and it interprets that as 3 rotations. Now watch. So, and you can see as I pull it back, it's already kind of doing it. So when I hit play, it does 3 full rotations, and it lands its final rotation. It completes it right on those keyframes. So everything is happening in unison. Okay? So it's all perfectly synchronized by using those previous keyframes. You don't always have to do that. You can have the rotation continue further than when the position and scale end. But we'll get to that in a separate tutorial. And then anchor point we'll discuss a little bit more in another tutorial. But right now, these are 3 basic properties that you can manipulate. You can set them independently and create some movement and excitement and create a little character for what it is that you're doing with not just graphics, titles, but also with actual video clips.